Hello and welcome to Guild Wars Players News, the podcast where we take a look at Guild Wars game series news and talk about content on our site, Guild Wars Players. I'm Sithrith, and today we have Draculetta.
Hey, everybody.
And we have Thelros.
Thank God you're back.
Yeah, I'm so glad Drek's back. Everything fell apart last week.
Yeah, I was hearing about the issues you were experiencing while I was gone.
We're so glad you're back.
It's good to be the tech guy, I guess.
Yeah. and obviously the talkative one, because last week was our shortest episode ever, despite lots of news. I don't know how that happened, but It did. So we're glad you're back, Drek. Don't ever leave us again.
Duly noted.
So this week we have a lot to talk about again, because, like I said, last week we didn't get around to talking about guild halls because a lot of the posts got posted just as we started recording, or we were about to start recording, I guess, and then more came out the next day. So now we're going to talk about guild halls and how they're going to be in Guild Wars 2, or Heart of Thorns Guild Wars 2. We're already in Guild Wars 2. This is already off to a great start. So they released a whole bunch of blog posts, I think 8 in total. So there's a ton of information to cover. So I'm just going to kind of go over it really quickly. I put up some summary posts over on the site, so you can go look at those. Basically, they had 6 goals when they were putting together these guild halls and revamping kind of the guild system. So the first one is to emphasize community and fellowship. That's kind of self-explanatory. A place to call your own. So they want your guild hall to be a personal space for your guild. They want guild halls to help you build a shared history. So it says, as your guild grows and changes, so too does your guild hall. That's pretty cool. Bring guilds into the world. Basically, they're giving guilds a physical space right now. There's not really, there's guild banners, and you can have guild armor and guild weapons, but otherwise, and, I guess guild missions and stuff, but otherwise there's not really a whole lot of physical guild presence in the world. They also want to activate player creativity with the decorations and stuff in guild halls, and they want to provide new ways to play together. So they've introduced a whole bunch of systems into guild halls that let people do that. So basically, instead of the kind of queue upgrade system from the guild panel that we have now, we're going to have like physical buildings in a guild hall that will let us upgrade stuff. So there's going to be a tavern, which is associated with socializations and effects, and it unlocks the ability to make a guild anthem, which is kind of cool. Like, make a song for your guild. I don't know, that's kind of funny. You can also...
I know what song I'd pick.
Yes, we know what song you would pick, Athalros. We can get to that later. You can also have a mine, which is a source of certain resources that you need to upgrade stuff. There's a workshop, which provides training in the new guild-specific crafting profession called scribing. There is the war room, which gives like World v. World buffs and stuff. There's the market, which, unlocks new guild weapons and armor and is focused on mercantilism. And the arena, which is a combat sandbox and allows you to like PvP with your guild mates and other guild friends, which I'm super personally excited about. So yeah, there's different resources that you'll use to upgrade guild halls, and so some of them are favor. There is Ethereum, and then there's also resources that you have to gather from the world, like specific resources. There's also going to be a whole bunch of changes to guilds themselves besides just the guild halls. Guild missions are going to be available to everyone. Not like currently you have to unlock guild missions, like being able to do them. But with Heart of Thorns, everybody's going to be able to do guild missions. Also, they're going to be changing around certain boosts. They're getting rid of some types of upgrades because they don't make sense in the new system. Again, I'm kind of just vaguely summarizing this right now. I put up a whole big, more in-depth summarization post on Guild Wars Players that you can go check out. Also, they're making it so that there's not going to really be an incentive anymore to rep a guild 100% of the time, which is nice because, like, obviously they provided 5 slots to be in 5 different guilds, so why not use them? And it's one thing I'm really excited about is they're going to be providing guild chat channels. So instead of just /G and like you just have the one guild chat, you'll be able to have /G1/G2/G3, etc. to still be able to chat with your guildmates in other guilds. So I think that's really good, and that definitely kind of contributes to enhancing and, encouraging socialization.
And I know
so
that
that's
that
go ahead.
alone was what excited a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I saw so many people talking about how excited they were about that. I mean, I'm only in one guild,
Mm-hmm.
so to me it's not that big a deal, but I can see why, because I know, well, even in our guild, we have some of the people that are in ours are in a couple others, and it's
Right.
like sometimes, they'll be online, but you'll see them, they're on the other guild, so we can't talk to them, so this is going to be handy for that.
Right, exactly.
So that's pretty exciting they're doing that. And I know players have wanted that for a long time anyway. So
Yeah. Well, and it's also frustrating because you see so often, like, people advertising for guilds, and they'll be like, oh, 100% rep required. And it's like, well, but I have guilds with my
Right,
friends that I
yeah.
want to talk to. Like, how's that going to work? So it'll be nice to see that you must rep 100% of the time guild recruitment requirement go away for some guilds. Because repping 100% of the time, like repping a guild won't be giving you the resources you need to upgrade the guild. That's part of the reason people would require 100% rep with guilds. But obviously with Heart of Thorns, that's not going to be a thing anymore. So yay for that. There's tons of stuff. Another thing is that there's going to be guild teams for PvP. Basically, you'll be able to have a set group of 5 players from your guild that PvPs together as a team, and like there's going to be a guild team PvP leaderboard, so you can compete against other teams, and I think that's kind of a cool way to get PvP in guilds. I'm excited about that, and I'm also really excited about that because then you can like name the teams. So like I don't know, you can have different cool necromancer themed team names probably. And also the scribing, which is the craft-specific crafting profession. Like I was saying, it's a kind of crafting profession. You can only do it in the guild hall, and you make guild consumables, and you make decorations, and you make upgrades for the guild. So that's going to be cool for those who, are into crafting and the decorating aspects of MMOs. That'll definitely be great for them. So that's kind of the brief rundown of guild halls. They seriously put out so much information. I definitely recommend going and reading the posts about them. So now we'll move on to some more immediate news, which is that this week ArenaNet, Drax already sighing, ArenaNet posted a clarification and update about the pre-purchase. If you remember last week we talked about how there were some concerns about the pre-purchase options. So this week they addressed the community and they made some changes. And these are the changes. Basically, if you purchased and registered Guild Wars 2 before January 23rd of this year, and if you pre-purchase Heart of Thorns, you will get an additional character slot added to your account. If you pre-purchased and registered Guild Wars 2 between January 23rd and June 26th, you will automatically be refunded what you paid for the core game if you purchase Heart of Thorns by July 31st. If you purchased and registered Guild Wars 2 between January 23rd and June 26th of this year, and you don't want to play Guild Wars 2 anymore, you can be fully refunded and have your account closed, as long as you submit the request by the 31st. And they also clarified their business plan that in the future, the core game and all previous expansions will be bundled in with the sale of new expansions to make it easier for new players to jump in. So, okay, before we talk about that, Drac, you weren't here last week, and I know you have opinions about the pre-purchase. So
yes,
go ahead and explain your opinions on the pre-purchase. Because they're very different from Atheros in my opinion.
Yeah, I could not believe that you guys were as tame as you were, actually. And I guess I should preface this to say this is my opinion only. It does not reflect, apparently anybody else on the podcast does not reflect the site or the Players Alliance Network.
I don't think you need to say that. I think that's kind of a given.
Well, it probably is, but I just wanted to say that. I would like to know who at ArenaNet thought this was a good idea.
What specifically?
To bundle the base game in with your expansion and make your players buy your base game again.
Well, to be fair, they did say that it's not, the price doesn't reflect the core game being bundled in. It's $50 is the price of Heart of Thorns, but they're adding in the core game as a...
Well, okay, yeah. And if I remember right...
But you're not buying it?
No, I'm not, because if I remember right, the original version of the FAQ did not state that, and then after all the outrage came, all of a sudden their FAQ was quietly changed to state that.
Well, they They did address that in the address to the community. Let me find that specific part. It says, in our January 23rd FAQ, we wanted to clarify that Guild Wars 2 Heart of Thorns would not be a standalone campaign like those we offered in Guild Wars in the past, like Factions and Nightfall, but instead would be a true expansion to Guild Wars 2, similar to what Guild Wars Eye of the North was to our original game. We wanted you to know that access to much of the content in Guild Wars 2 Heart of Thorns requires access to Guild Wars 2. Some read the FAQ as us urging players to buy the core game now in preparation for the expansion release. This was not our intention, and amendments made to the FAQ following the announcement were a good faith attempt to clarify this misinterpretation. As such, we're offering a comprehensive refund policy, and that's why they then decided to provide the full game price refund if you buy Heart of Thorns if you've purchased Guild Wars 2 base game since January 23rd, and if you don't want to play the game at all, you get a full refund.
I will give them credit for doing that, and I will give them credit for now clearly stating in the future going forward, this and any other expansion, this is how it will be. I appreciate them doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't understand why the business model changed because I'm coming from the original Guild Wars.
Right.
And I could not understand why it was so different to begin with. And then I never understood, but they have fixed that because now they are giving declared character slots. I'm like,
right.
Why not give a character? I mean, I don't know. This whole thing, and I'm sure it was not a good time in the ArenaNet offices either.
No,
because this was a PR nightmare. But I would just like to know who... I would have loved to set in on that meeting to where some PR person is saying, okay, this is what we want to do, and then I'm sure it was somebody higher up, and it was probably one of the bean counters, I'm sure, that said, no, we're going to do it this way. And then just to see the look on the PR person's face, it's like, oh my God, how are we going to do this? Because they knew what the backlash was going to be. So I guess I give them credit for kind of making it right. I still feel like this is just a big insert your foo sound effect here to former players. I really do.
I really disagree. I don't think they intend to make veteran players angry at all. I don't see why they would want to do that. I think honestly,
I don't either. That's what I don't understand. I don't understand why they're doing this because that's all this is to me. And I think I'm not alone in other than on this call, but I'm not alone in feeling that either. But
I think that like their obviously this is like a guess on my book, so obviously I have no idea what their intentions were. But I think what they were trying to do with the whole bundling thing, like it just being the base game and adding the expansions onto it, is to make it easier for people coming into the game. Because like you look at other MMOs, like Use Lotro, for example, because you do that with everything. There's currently 4 or 5 different expansions that you'd have to get through all of them. Having the way they do right with this is that you just buy the game, that's it. You have all the stuff.
That is true.
I think is good.
And that is good. But for a new player, give me the option of just buying the expansion alone.
Well, okay.
Don't
so
I will
Jack,
actually.
let me insert something.
Okay.
So here's the thing. So, okay, there's been tons of posts, or not posts, sales the past few months, bringing the base game of Guild Wars 2 down to $10, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So many people, so we're saying Guild Wars 2 core game is about-ish $10. Obviously, us who have bought it earlier than that did not pay that low price.
Right, but I mean, that's fine.
It's about $10.
Yeah.
You know, game prices go down. So we're saying Guild Wars 2 base game is about $10. Now we're getting a character slot instead of the money back. How much is a character slot? It's 800 gems, which is $10. So I think it evens out, personally.
I guess. I don't know.
I will actually agree with Drac in that they probably should have just offered an option to just buy the expansion.
That's all I'm saying.
I think that would have made this a lot less complicated.
It would have. It really would have. It's like
I definitely see that, yeah.
Yeah, but
like even if it was just an in-game option to upgrade to Heart of Thorns, I think that would have been.
Yeah, I don't understand why they didn't do that part of it. Honestly, they could. That more than anything else probably would have saved them so much headache.
Oh,
yeah.
Definitely it would have. Yeah, I mean, it would have cut at least 80% of this out, I think.
Because they would have had a ton of good PR from the whole newbie option, which is really good.
That is great. I love that for a new player because you can basically tell them, it's like, here, buy this, you have the core game, you can jump right into the core game, and then, if you are not worrying about actually enjoying the game for a while, you can get to 80 fairly quick, and you can go ahead and start this new content right away.
Well, yeah, and like
So
the other thing
that's
is,
awesome.
in other games, other MMOs with expansions, you always see like, oh, well, which expansions should I buy, or which ones can I ignore? Like, do I
Right,
need this
yeah.
one to get to the cap? Blah blah. But yeah, bundling them together just makes sense for simplicity's sake.
I think
For new
the point
players.
I would also make is that because I think us not knowing much about the expansion still, at least in terms of what core content, how much is there,
Yeah, I haven't
kind
even
of
brought that
Yeah.
had
part
an
up yet.
impact on it because how to put this? Because we don't know, people can kind of get the feeling, even if it like whether or not it's accurate, that the price of this whole like games plus expansion bundle is higher because of the game being in it. So that
Right.
it may not, the expansion itself may not be worth that price, and we don't know
Right.
whether it is or not yet.
And
Yeah, that's probably the big thing still keeping me from pre-purchasing is I still don't know what.
Because
all
if
we're
we
getting.
knew exactly what was in it, and people could
Exactly.
determine
Bingo.
whether it's worth the, what was it, 50 or something? I don't remember.
Yeah, 50 minimum.
Yeah, if we knew it was worth that, that also probably would have lessened the impact.
Right. We know a lot about the systems, and we know that this is a very systems-oriented expansion, but the fact is people usually measure expansions by number of quests, landmass, stuff like that, and we don't know much of anything about that.
It was a cluster fudge of various factors, really.
Yeah.
And a release date would be nice, too.
That would also be nice.
At
Okay,
some
here's my
point.
speculation on release date. So in the address community thing,
Mm-hmm.
they say like, oh, you have to make your requests by July 31st, 2015, or like, yeah, pre-purchase by July 31st, 2015. So based on that, their kind of start date for all this stuff is if you registered it starting January 23rd, which is the day before they announced Heart of Thorns. I'm thinking that August 1st is going to be the day they announce the Heart of Thorns release date.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. I
Yep.
guess I never put that together when I read that, but that does make sense.
Yep. I mean, it'd be nice if August 1st... The alternative is August 1st is Heart of Thorns release date, but I'm not going to be that
I
optimistic.
think you're right. I think they'll announce it the first, and then I'm going to say mid-September it'll be released.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
We'll see.
We will see. Alright, so that's pre-purchase stuff. And now on to this week's bigger news, which is the June 23rd update, which was an absolutely huge
Big
update,
update.
actually. It was ridiculous. It was huge. I don't even know where to start. Well, I guess we'll start with New Lion's Arch. As you remember, over a year ago, Scarlet Briar kind of totally wrecked Lion's Arch, and it's kind of been in various states of destruction since then. And in the past month or so, we got a new update where they started construction. And now, this week, finally, we have a new, fully rebuilt Lion's Arch. It's all shiny. I think it's pretty. Drac does not think it's pretty. And yeah, go for it, Drac.
Well-
What is your opinion on Lion's Arch?
It's pretty if you like theme parks.
I do love theme parks. I love
Well,
Disney
then I
World.
can see why you think this is pretty, because it's a giant freaking theme park.
I love it.
Did we really need a giant lobster? Really?
The lobster is a bit much, but I'm a really big fan of the giant octopus with the like aquarium in its Head thing?
I guess. Yeah.
head bulb, whatever.
Oh, that's
Um,
the fish tank? Yeah.
Yeah,
That-
yeah,
That's
the
kind of
bank.
cool, yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I like the trading post in the giant shell with the barnacles on it.
The Black Lion place looks pretty good too.
Yeah, the Black
sort of
Lion
keys on the outside
with
of
the
it.
keys. And then if you go into the Black Lion Trading Company building, they have tables, and on the tables are the different kinds of Black Lion weapon skins that you can get. So you can like see them in person in game, which is pretty cool.
And another
Um,
thing at the back where it showed the ones that weren't being sold.
Yeah,
That
there's
was-
like a
we found
vault in
that.
the back with a gate, but you can see in the back they have all of the Black Lion weapon skins that aren't purchasable at the moment, which is kind of a cool little touch, I think. But yeah, you
There's-
don't like it, Drac.
Well, there's parts of it I do, and then parts of it I don't. It's just too theme
Yeah.
parky for me, and it's way too like totally different than anything else. It's like, why is this just? It's because like parts of it looks like it's like Sylvari Land, and then other parts don't, and then you get the whole weird lobster thing, and I'm like, what?
Oh yeah, I guess I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like the big what's the word I'm
floaty
looking for?
leaf thingies, like the ones in the garden. I think especially they
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
jellyfish, but plants.
Yeah, they look like
Just,
jellyfish.
Like, why? Could you not pick a theme and go with it through your whole town? I mean,
well, I
but-
mean, I guess the theme
I
is
don't know.
mostly like nautical sea town kind of thing.
which I
The
mean,
fort
that
looks really nice.
yeah, it does. I love the fort.
With
The
those
fort
big
is
shiny gold
awesome.
cannons.
Yep. The fort is awesome. I do love the fort, and I
Oh,
like
what's his name? That person I don't like.
Fort Mariner. Yeah.
Sure.
and I
We have a
like
not very nice name for him.
the which I can't think of the
The
name,
lighthouse too.
name
Looks
of it.
really
Oh,
nice.
the lighthouse is cool.
The place in the center, Celebration Square, whatever it's called. I can't think of what name.
Lions Court, I think it is. If that's what you're referring
Yeah,
to.
like,
that's it. Yes.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, one of the choices was Celebration Court, I guess. And it, yeah, Lions Court. I like that area too. I can see that is going to be great for like festivals and stuff like that. So
That is one nice thing about the new place. There's a lot of room for like social gatherings and stuff, and there's that island in the southeast corner that's got like all the flowers and stuff. That's like
Yes,
people already
we know
had
about the
weddings
flowers.
there and stuff. Yeah, you could. There's a merchant there. You can buy a little thing of flowers, and like it gives you a skill that lets you throw flower petals everywhere, and I really like it.
of course
Yeah,
you do.
a lot of people
Yes.
apparently already had in-game weddings at that island, so
I can
That's-
see that.
that's a thing.
Yeah. I think the Lobster Prey is overdone. We kind of got overly acquainted with that particular thing. Yeah.
We
I
already
do
got it.
kind of. I think it is better overall, obviously, because it was a wreck before.
Yeah.
The animal motifs possibly, a bit overdone. But I think aside from that, like beginning area of it's kind of the rest of it's pretty much good.
Yeah.
Like the West Ward, I believe it's called, that whole area leading up
Yeah,
to that new vendor place up in the cave that we were stupid and couldn't find.
Yep.
And that's all like fine. It looks new and shiny and stuff, and it's great. Yeah,
Mhm.
the animal motifs surprise us too much.
Yeah. Especially
Like
the lobster.
having heads everywhere, I guess, is kind of the equivalent.
I don't think it's as bad as the Dol Amroth heads in Lord of the Rings Online, but yeah.
I mean, at least animal motif made sense.
Yeah. But we're down to one lion statue now.
It's a good point. Yes, we struggled with that thing too. for
Yeah, we
different
had a hard
reasons.
time finding a lion statue for a while, but we did find it. It's at the fort. It's shiny and gold though, so that's cool. But there is a lot of like little tiny things in this new Lions Arch, like little details that are really cool. There's a new jumping puzzle that takes approximately 1 million years to complete.
Ugh.
And there's also a new achievement in New Lion's Arch where you go around shooting karkas and you get a item called Princess, which is a little karka, and it will eat 50 Dragonite ore at a time and give you a little present like Mondri does. And it's a really good thing if you want to get rid of some of your extra Dragonite ore, which you probably do because you probably have a
I
million
still
of
haven't
it.
done that yet. I have it, but I haven't actually used it. And you should probably be doing that.
Yeah, I didn't know about that. I'm gonna have to do that because I have a ton of that dragon ore. So I
Yeah.
guess I'll
Good
have to
luck,
go.
Drac. That's all I can say.
Great.
Good
great.
luck.
Yeah, it's you go and you get a gun from this NPC, and then you have to go around listening for karka chittering, and then you shoot them.
We're gonna cover that
It
now.
took
We'll
us-
go over that more in depth later.
I mean,
Oh, good
it's
grief.
kind of hard not to talk about it now. We might as well. We did
All
this
right.
karka killing thing. It took us what, 5 hours?
Oh god,
Oh my god!
we're not
Gotta
joking.
be kidding me.
We're not joking.
No. But to be fair, we didn't look at any guides. We specifically wanted to do it totally on our own. We didn't look at any guides till we only had, what was it, 4 left?
4 or 5, yeah.
Yeah, because we thought something was bugged, but then it turned out it wasn't. So
There
it
were
was
50
it
of
was
them.
yeah. There's 50 Karka throughout Lion's Arch. It was actually fun. It took ages, but I had fun. It's like
It was
It's really
fun
frustrating.
learning how evil the developers are.
yeah, because they hide them in the little tiny crevices and corners all over Lion's Arch. It's very frustrating. The jumping
There was
puzzle is also
some
very
that
frustrating.
You could only find by rubbing your head against walls. Like there was one
Yeah.
in that one room that had it behind like a sort of curtain type thing.
Oh yeah,
I only just happened to find it because I was like running into it, and I'm like, oh god, there's so many of those types of things where it was
They're
dirty.
evil.
That's all I'll say.
ArenaNet is just full of evil people.
Yeah.
The jumping puzzle is also pretty evil because there's 5 stages to it. And if you fall at any point, you have to start over again unless you find a very nice mesmer that will portal you up. Which happens even if you are 2 mesmers trying to do the jumping puzzle and you're nubs like us and fall, both of you.
Yeah. It was fun, not as bad as Not So Secret. It's just, you fall.
The jumps, it's not the jumps that are difficult, it's just it's so long.
And finding out where to go.
And finding out where to go is tricky, especially in the beginning. I think the beginning was really the hardest part. Figuring out
that we were spent. I think most of the time of doing the jump puzzle was that beginning bit.
Right, because it was a brand new jumping puzzle. When we started doing it, there weren't any guides up yet, so we didn't even know. We knew where to start, but it wasn't super clear where to go.
Yeah, because I remember we
spent ages kind of just
and then we just
jumping
sort of
on
stopped
roofs
because we didn't realize it carried on from there.
Yeah, there's 4 keys you have to get, and then there's a final chest that you unlock. It is quite the ordeal, but it's good. It was a high quality jumping puzzle, I'd say.
Having done that, I'm again having a conundrum of what to do when Heart of Thrones comes out because, there's no way I'm doing those on my Necro. It's not happening.
No, we've decided that Mesmer jumping puzzles is like jumping puzzle easy mode. Any other class is hard mode jumping puzzles.
Because, 2 Mesmers, and it was still kind of an ordeal. Doing that with one on my own, or as just as a Necro, it's not happening. I'm just not doing it.
Yep.
Not ever.
Yep. So that's New Lines Arch. This update also included an update to the wallet, which is kind of a minor update, but it's a nice quality of life update. Basically, there's a little coins icon in the bottom of your inventory, and you click on it and your inventory changes into wallet view, and you can click on the different currencies and it will give you a little bit of information about the currencies. It's just kind of a quality of life thing. I was really happy because now I have all my bandit crests and geodes in my wallet and not taking up space in my bank. I'm so happy. On top of that, probably the biggest overarching change that happened this update was the traits and skills update. Basically, every class got changed a bit. We got a new trait setup, we got rid of skill points, we have hero points now. It's a totally different system. I'm still kind of grappling with it. I think I've gotten Creepomancer to a good place now, but it definitely took a lot of tweaking. And I think I haven't played all my classes yet because it's kind of a daunting task to go through and rebuild all of them. But I will say this, on Creepomancer, I was in a courtyard PvP match, and I didn't die once, which is amazing. If you've ever played a courtyard PvP match, that's kind of astounding. I was very excited. I didn't die once. I was able to res multiple teammates because now Necromancers can use some of their Death Shroud skills to heal and partially revive allies, which is kind of insane. There's a lot more healing and group play for Necromancers now. Yeah, group utility for Necromancers now. Necromancer, it's a bit more difficult than it was. It was like before, if you traded the right way, it would be very easy to just stay alive forever and never die. But it's a little bit more difficult now, but I feel like it's a bit more rewarding also because you can do more while alive. It's a little bit trickier.
Seems like you do more damage too as a Necro. At least it feels
because they changed how much damage conditions do, like in the way condition damage works. So a lot of your conditions do more damage, and just generally, I feel like I do more damage, and I can survive a long time, and I can help heal teammates. So maybe I'm OP. I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
Yeah. I've only done some PvE, just random questing and stuff on my Necro. I guess some of these traits I'm using now, I apparently already existed. I just didn't know about them. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's it. But yeah, I feel like I'm doing more damage now, and I'm pretty much as survivable as I was before. Mm-hmm. The Mesmer in particular felt a lot more powerful.
Yeah,
the way I'm currently set
shatters.
Up, yeah. The way it's set up, for me, at least at the moment, is shattering reduces the cooldown of my Phantasm summons, and then you summon, obviously you summon them and do the shattering stuff, and I can pretty much keep that rotation going almost continuously. It's pretty really potent, especially when shattering does a ton of damage anyway.
Right.
It felt really good. The one downside is of the passive speed buff that they were going to give us on that annoying signet, that the talk every 10 seconds one.
Mm-hmm.
It's
You
not
talk every
what
10
I was...
seconds?
Yep.
That's the
It's
downside.
well, that and the speed buff, I guess I automatically assumed it would have been like the Necro and
Other
Ranger
classes,
or Hunter,
generally.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just where it's flat 25% constantly.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that. It's just you get a speed buff whenever you get the talking.
I think,
10
if I remember
seconds, so
correctly, Chronomancer will be getting a 25% flat speed buff.
Was it them?
I think so.
Hmm.
I could
Well,
be
I
wrong.
guess I'm going to have to wait longer then. Gee, is...
Sorry.
'Cause
Well,
it's-
you
I-
main a Necro now. You're one of us, so.
After you've played a Necro or anyone with
Everything
a passive
else
speed
is
buff
just-
like that, especially doing PvP, you can't
Mhm.
go back to playing such a slow class. It's just awful.
It really is. Once you go Necro, you never go back. Drac, have you played with your Ranger? How's that? Or have you not played it much?
To tell you the truth, I just started to look at that, and I really have to sit down and really look at it.
Yeah, it's really
Because it was like way over my head, and I'm like, I don't even know
Yeah.
what to do with
yeah,
this.
I was like that first
So-
too.
When I opened up my game, I was like, okay, sweet, update, open up. And then I opened up my traits, and I'm like, I'm going to need a cup of coffee before I can even start playing
That's
with this.
exactly what I did, because, I mean, I knew it was coming, and I
But it's so overwhelming. Even
opened
if
up
you're
my
ready
panel, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
pretty much like that too. I think I spent a few minutes just messing around with traits and stuff. You kind of get the grips to it fairly quickly at this point. It's actually a lot simpler than it seems like.
Yeah, I did a really nerdy thing, and I wrote down all of my PvE and PvP traits and what they did. I wrote all of it out before the update, so
Yeah.
I'd know like what to look for.
Oh, that's
when
a good
the update hit.
idea. I should have did
Yeah.
that. That's a really good idea.
I'm not a nerd, so I didn't do it.
Whatever.
Unfortunate.
Some of the nice features, though, I think they had on it was one of the panels showed you every single ability you can have. It
Yeah,
would show,
when
like,
you're
what stats it would have and stuff.
when you're in the trait window, you can see all the skills all the different weapons do, which is really nice, because that's one thing I always was frustrated about looking at the trait window. Like a trait would reference a skill, and I wouldn't know what weapon had that skill. I wouldn't be able to remember like what skill that was. So I'd always have to be like looking around and like swapping weapons. But now, yeah, on the side of the trait panel, it just lists all of your skills, which is really nice.
Mhm.
So yeah, besides the skill and trait update, there was also the much anticipated personal story revamp. And Thoros, I know you've done a bit more of the new personal story than I have, so you can talk about that.
Yeah. I did the entirety of the level 70 personal story on my Necro.
Mhm.
Yeah. I have to ask, because someone who was actually there playing when it happened, why did they change the personal story again?
Quote unquote new player experience.
It
Quote
just,
unquote.
I don't see a positive from doing that, because all this stuff that I did, it just made
Makes
the whole
more sense.
thing better and more enjoyable and more complete. Importantly, I actually
Mhm.
know where this orb thing came from. I know who that guy is now. It's just these details. I don't see a benefit from making players like confused. That's not going to
Right.
help new players. I think it's going to make it even worse for them. I don't get it. I really don't.
So you think this revamp was good?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. They should never have changed it, in my opinion. Unless it's
One
something
thing-
like Utov, they should not have.
I did the level 60 personal story, the Claw Island thing, on my Elementalist. And one thing that's really cool is all the scenes that take place in Lion's Arch are now all kind of sepia toned, and they use the original Lion's Arch from before Scarlet's attack. So
that's
I'm
kinda
looking
cool.
forward to doing that. 'Cause
I got to
that's-
see
I haven't-
Lion's Arch in its original form for once, which was really exciting.
I'm glad I
Um,
saved some of my personal stories then that I had to do, so I can
Yeah.
actually see this now.
Yeah, it's
I'm
a
looking
little
forward to rolling.
sepia toned. Apparently, you can take off the sepia tone if you turn off like post processing effects. And obviously, because it's personal story, you can't just like go nuts running all over Lion's Arch. You have a limited scope of where you can go. But
Yeah.
still, like it took me a second because I was like, I know this part's supposed to be in Lion's Arch, but I don't know where I am. And then I realized, oh, this must be original Lion's Arch. So that's pretty cool, and that makes sense story wise.
Is this like? Is there a precedent for them letting people do this? As far as I know, there was no other way to see pre-destruction. in game.
No, I don't think so.
No, so that's
I think
interesting.
this is
that
just a
they're
new
finally
thing.
letting people do that.
I mean, it makes sense
Even if it's
because
limited,
the personal
it's
story
still
is supposed to take place before Living Story Season 1. So it
I
makes
guess
sense.
So, yeah, that makes sense. Still, it would be nice to see. When I end up rolling another count, I'll definitely be on the lookout for that.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's pretty good. So I think that's about it for the update. Any other thoughts or comments on the update?
No, I just think it's pretty good overall.
Yeah.
I have
There's still a
stuff
lot
to
to
do
process.
Now, which is nice.
You have stuff to do. Yeah. It's going to take a million years to go through all my alts and get builds set up. But I guess that means I'll be busy for a while. So, Drek, we also have some news from the original Guild Wars, and apparently they're giving us Winter's Day in July.
Yes,
What's up with that?
they are, in keeping, of course, I think everybody has probably heard of the Christmas in July phenomenon that happens. So why not happen in Tyria as well? Through July 31st, you can partake in a little mini version of Winter's Day in the original Guild Wars. Basically what happens is if you go to any of the core cities, you can participate in the Snowball Arena. And once you're in there, you can earn candy cane shards from doing stuff in the Snowball Arena. And then you can trade those in for your Winter's Day gift from the gift givers who are outside of the Snowball Arena.
Snowball Arena sounds fun.
It is. It's really super, super fun. It's basically imagine PvP, but you're throwing snowballs.
Cool.
And that's pretty much
I
what
can
it
dig
is.
that.
So yeah, it's fun. It's a blast. And that runs through the 31st, of course, in the original Guild Wars. And if you just go to any of the main cities, Lion's Arch, Canthia, or Cambodon, sorry, and Xingjin Monastery, you can get into the Snowball Arena.
Cool. And what is on sale this week, Drek, in Guild Wars 2?
Well, the Gallant weapon set is available. They're okay, I guess. I mean, I wasn't jumping up and down about them.
They're kind of nice if you're interested in more kind of traditional-looking weapons that aren't covered in particle effects and glow effects and stuff. Like if you just want like nice, solid-looking weapon.
Yeah,
nice.
That might be why I didn't, because I looked at the bow and I was like, yeah. The pistols are pretty cool looking though, because they look like old, like Revolutionary War.
Yeah, and they've got like little etchings all over them.
Yeah. So those are available, and you could have gotten yourself some white feather wings. The wings are back, folks. It was 24 hours only, and this time it was white. As you remember, last time they were black. You bought some, didn't you?
Maybe. I might have.
It's your fault. You did this.
I blame Sarah because I was talking to her and I said, "Oh, these wings, they would look so good on my Guardian, but wings." And she peer pressured me into getting them. It's her fault.
Sure.
It's a lame excuse.
So now my Guardian has white wings and they're so cool and I have no regrets.
And then also, which this kind of came out of left field, I thought, in the store you do have the option, if you bought the standard edition of the Heart of Thorns, you can upgrade it to the deluxe edition through the gem store.
Well, that makes sense. You can do that with the base game as well in the store. Or you used to be able to anyway.
And they made a few changes to the Black Lion chest. They added the toy miniature egg. It is an uncommon drop. And they increased the rarities of the Parrot mail carriers and the Raven mail carriers. So both of those are now listed as rare.
Well, it's a good thing I already got my Parrot mail carrier then. Alright, so now, since that's about it for the actual news, we'll move into news from articles from our site. First of all, I posted a guide called Introduction to Combo Fields. Now, this is actually, I linked to a guide over on the Tumblr blog, Guild Wars 2 Intro 101, which is a blog that's kind of putting together a whole bunch of really great introductory guides to Guild Wars 2, and some of them are in a bit more in-depth topics. And Combo Fields is one of those. I feel like it took me a while to understand combo fields. Like, the game doesn't really teach you about them very well, and they can be a little hard to miss if you don't know what you're looking for. So basically combo fields. If you've ever seen while you're playing randomly like a pinkish brown heart show up with like area might or something, that means that you have helped another player make more damage, basically. When you put down certain types of area of effect skills, you'll notice there's kind of a brown puzzle piece and heart border around it instead of just the white kind of squiggly border. It's a different border, and it's like I said, if you don't know what to look for, you might miss it. But these are called combo fields, and depending on what type of skill you put down, they can help fellow allies do different types of damage. So I definitely recommend going and taking a look at this intro guide because it really is very in-depth, but it's very new player friendly. So you can learn all about combo fields and how to kind of increase your group play potential. So go check that out. This week, Mel also put out a video called Lion's Arch Reborn, and he kind of took a tour of the new Lion's Arch, and basically he shows you the new Lion's Arch in just over a minute. So that's a good video to go check out. And there's also, he made another post called Murder in Lion's Arch, and this is an interesting thing. I didn't notice until he posted this, but on one of the beaches in New Lion's Arch, there is a murdered Sylvari. And basically there's a Lion Guard investigator standing nearby them, and if you talk to them, the Lion Guard, points out that this guy was murdered. They haven't found any leads. But I think this is interesting because I think it kind of goes back to the changes that we've seen in the most recent Living Story episode where, Sylvari are not being trusted anymore. So kind of ominous.
You think this is leading into maybe a new quest arc or something that will have eventually that...
Yeah, if not a quest arc, maybe just some kind of background flavor to give the Sylvari not being trusted atmosphere and like people not liking Sylvari anymore. Kind of just to give that setting, I guess, setting up for Heart of Thorns. I almost said Thrones.
Oh, how disappointing.
Anyway, and Drac, this week is the Sounds of Tira is Zoja and Mr. Sparkles, which I guess I shouldn't be surprised at.
I was going to say, is anybody surprised that I finally got around to picking this track?
No.
I didn't think so. It's awesome. It's Zoja. It's Mr. Sparkle.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. It's very kind of like moody music. It is very kind of like slow and a little bit ethereal, and then it kind of picks up, and then it kind of goes to that just like eerie little ethereal slow again. So I love this track.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really like it. I don't like Zoja, but I guess I like her music.
Me neither.
Be gone with you both. I banish you both.
Whatever, Drac.
You leave Zoja alone.
She's mean.
I'll leave her alone when she leaves Air alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess at this point she already has, but it doesn't count.
Yeah. So this week's video spotlight is called Canon in C and Melodies of Life Ensemble. And Thoros, you took a listen to that and a watch. What's that video about?
Yeah, it's a video from the Musicians Guild of Tyria. They did I'm not quite sure what song this is because I'm not really
Canon in C and Melodies of Life Ensemble?
Yeah, that's what it's called, I guess. I'm not cultured, so I wouldn't know if it's from anything or whatever.
I'm not cultured.
That's been decided a long time ago that I am not.
It's true.
It's so true. Oh, it's so true.
More than some people would wish it to be. But yeah, this is them doing that song, but manually using a variety of instruments from in-game, which I found kind of interesting. Obviously, I guess a really nice job by them, but I'm not really used to seeing in-game instruments done manually because, again, I'm having reference to a lot, but from in that game, it's normally done using macros, and
or
I'm really not
.abc
used.
files, yeah.
Or that, I suppose. I'm not quite sure how it works, but yeah, like I'm not used to seeing people do this manually. It's really nice to see, but yeah, it's just really strange for me.
Yeah, coming from Lotro, where the norm is to use .abc files that have been converted from MIDI files to play songs that have been prearranged. And it's very, very rare to see anybody play the instruments in that game manually. It's kind of bizarre coming to Guild Wars 2 because it seems that there's quite a stigma against using macros to play instruments. I've seen people call out people who have been using a macro to play a song in Guild Wars 2 and call them out and say that they are reporting them, which is kind of strange to me because it's...
Does it really matter?
Well, that's the
I don't
thing. And
think
ArenaNet
it's-
has come out. I've seen in the forums multiple times. ArenaNet's come out and said, "Listen, you can use macros for music. It doesn't really affect gameplay. It's not a concern we have. We don't. You
I
can
mean-
use macros to play music. It doesn't matter."
Just sit back and enjoy the music. Good grief.
I mean,
Who cares how they're playing it?
it is really impressive for people to be able to
Well, yeah,
play
it
them
is.
manually.
Heck yeah, it
but
is.
for RP purposes, not everybody has those skills. What if your character does? I can see you using a macro to, have your character do that.
I have to say, I did also enjoy seeing the Guardian fall flat on his face from above.
Oh yeah, that was a good
Always
point.
enjoyable to see that.
Yep. And this week's community outfit is called Remiel, and he is a Sylvari thief. He's very pink and purple, so I enjoy this Sylvari.
That is
using
quite
the-
dapper.
It is a very dapper Sylvari. He's got the Noble Count outfit, and Hunalicious is the one who sent Remiel in, and Hunalicious says, "So here are some screenshots of my newest character, Remiel. He's a Sylvari thief with a dream theme. Once he reaches level 80, I gotta get him the Dreamer to finish the look. He's fascinated with the idea of dreams, since the Sylvari's definition is slightly other than for human dreams. He's also still pretty confused about a lot of things, because he has just been born recently. He wears the Noble Count outfit for now, and the dyes I use for him are Wine Breeze, Grape, Evening, and Mischief." So they also took some really beautiful screenshots. I think they're using gem effects or sweet effects or some other form of special effects filter type thing to get these screenshots, but they are really gorgeous. And I always love a good pink
That
and
last
purple
screenshot,
Sylvari.
though. That's very much dapper.
Yeah, they sent a couple of images with cartoon little bubbles and dialogue, but they were not entirely appropriate for our site, so I didn't post them. But I posted that one. So Remiel is a very good-looking Sylvari thief, and I approve of the Dreamer. If you want to see your outfit showcased on our site, you can send it to us at contact@guildwarsplayers.com with the title Weekly Outfit. So, Tharos, we kind of covered what all of us did a little bit in game this week, but what else did you do this week in game?
Well, outside of killing Karka's gem puzzle and the personal story, I did do a bit of world completion. I think at this point I'm about 93%, 92, 93% done. The only areas I have left to cover are Straits, Malchus Leap, and Cursed Shore, so all the ore areas, and that's it.
Or is
Only,
terrible.
quote unquote, because those
Only,
areas are
yes.
the worst.
Yeah, they're pretty
Especially
bad.
Straits. I mean, I'm almost done with it because we did go around that bit a while back, but still, it's very bad, especially on your own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So,
That's
Drac, what did
pretty
you
much
do?
it.
I too am working on world completion, and basically what I did is I just picked a zone that I needed to do at random. I'm not doing them in any particular order or anything, so I ended up doing just open up my map, and I noticed the one that I needed most of was Dreadnought Cliffs. So I started doing that. I still have a lot to do out there. I think I've got most of my hearts done. I just have to do
Nice.
the point of interest.
Ugh, that's,
And
The hearts are the hardest part.
Yeah, I thought so too. So doing that, and then as I alluded to previously, I did take a quick little tour of the new theme park that we have, or I'm sorry, the new Lions Arch, and that was about it.
Cool.
How about you? What'd you do this week?
I played so much Guild Wars 2 this week. So, yeah, I did the Lion's Arch jumping puzzle and the Karka killing. I got my armor smith to 400 finally, so now all I have to do is gather enough materials to make the Gift of Darkness, and then I'll be one step further towards Twilight. I worked on some world completion stuff with the Thalros. I'm not quite as far as he is. Still got a little bit more to go. But I also did a total makeover kit on my Sylvari Warrior, and he went from kind of being a light gray and purple warrior Sylvari to a black and orange Sylvari, and I think he looks pretty cool. He looks evil, but he's not. He just looks evil.
most of your characters look evil at this point.
Except for my Mesmer, who I also did a total makeover kit on, and she is now a pretty white and pink Sylvari flower.
Of course she is.
I guess your chart counts because I don't think he understands what evil is.
Yeah, my Char's not evil. He just doesn't understand anything. So yeah, my Sylvari Mesmer is all pink and fluffy, and I deleted Princess Fluffkins because honestly, I don't play Mesmers enough to justify having two Mesmers. And so I kind of just consolidated them, made the Sylvari pink and fluffy, and so now I just have to save up and get Love-Struck weapons for her, which is going to be a whole thing, because the shield especially has gone up in price a lot. Isn't great.
So how did you choose Mesmer to get rid of?
Because my Mesmer is like level 6.
Oh, that was a easy
Also in Asura.
And she was level 6 in Asura, so low importance on my list of characters.
Low everything.
Low everything, yeah, literally. So now I actually, for once in my Guild Wars 2 career, have an empty character slot.
What?
I know, right?
Also an empty wallet, I'm sure.
Well, yes. Well, I have 10 gold right now. That's not...
Hey, for you, that's not bad.
For me,
At
that's
this
pretty
point,
good.
yeah, that's like being wealthy.
That's rich. I also, this week, I posted our Heart of Thorns Ultimate Edition giveaway to the Guild Wars 2 subreddit, and we got inundated with comments. I think we're nearly up to 1,500 comments on that giveaway. You still have a couple days left. The giveaway ends July 1st. So if you like your odds against 1,500 other people, you can still enter.
It's like the Publishers Clearinghouse giveaway. Somebody's got to win it.
Somebody's got to win it. So yeah, that is now the highest number of comments on any Player Alliance site by a lot. So that was pretty amazing. Hopefully some of you guys stick around and actually look at the site and watch and listen to our podcast. That'd be super cool. And so this week we did not get any new Patreon mentions, but we would love your support. You can help support the Guild Wars Players site and podcast by going to the donation page, and you can support the Players Alliance Network on Patreon. You can get a reward like a mention, or you can even come and be a guest on the show. And we didn't get any new reviews on iTunes this week, and we did get a lot of comments. Like I said, we got inundated in comments, and we really appreciate everybody taking the time to leave little notes and stuff. So thanks for all of that. If you would like to contact us, you can email us at podcast@guildwarsplayers.com, or you can send us an ask to our Tumblr at guildwarsplayers.tumblr.com. And, of course, we're on Twitter. The Players Alliance Network's Twitter is @PlayersAlly, and our site is @GWPlayers. I'm at Sithrith, Drac is @Draculetta_72, and Atharos is @Atharos. And also, of course, you can talk to us in-game. You can find me at Sithrith.6741, Drac is Draculetta.7410, and Atharos is Atharos.3164. The Players Alliance has a whole bunch of live shows. Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern is DDO Players News. Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern is this show. And Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern is Lotro Players News. You can get to all of these live shows by going to guildwarsplayers.com/live. Thank you all so much for listening. And this is Sithrith reminding you to look before you leap.